Local support for News 6 has been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.
Hi! We're the 6th grade class of Oak Harbor Junior High! All over Rapids! Welcome to News 6!
Hi, I'm Christina Heminger from Oak Harbor Junior High. Welcome to News 6. With today's first story, here's Gary Scale.
For most teachers, teaching a regular class is enough of a challenge, but Miss Jill Stevenson has accepted the additional challenge of teaching a class of multi-handicapped students at Oak Harbor Junior High. Here's Jennifer Sutkus with the story.
Miss Stevenson teaches some very important people essential lessons in life. What is a multi-handicap class?
A multi-handicap class is a class for students who have at least 2 handicapping conditions. They could be anything from a physical impairment to a language disorder to adaptive behavior problems. And most of the students in here all have somewhat of a developmental delay, along with some other handicapping condition like cerebral palsy, adaptive behavior problems, social skills, things like that.
How is this class different from a regular class?
It's different because it's very individualized. Each student has an individualized education plan and they're all working on different things. Some may work on functional academic skills, like filling out job applications, money skills, while others are just learning to sort colors, choose their name from a group of names. It's very different. It's all developed to make them as independent as possible.
What is a typical school day like?
None of our days are typical. Every day we start out with checking in. We do a calendar activity to get some language going. We do some simple functional academics. We have group activities, which may be a game, it may be going to music. Then in the afternoon we usually do daily living skills, doing some cooking activities, exercising, and possibly going out in the community to work on our community living skills.
Do you enjoy working here?
I enjoy it a lot. I don't think there's anything else I'd rather do. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, there's days when I am exhausted and I think I'm glad this day's over, but I'm always glad to be back the next day.
Today's News 6 is produced by the 6th grade class of Oak Harbor Junior High. The school is located in Oak Harbor, which is about 30 miles southeast of Toledo. Oak Harbor was founded in 1871 and has a population of about 2,600.
Everyone knows that the atomic bomb is a terrifying weapon of mass destruction, but at the Davis-Besse plant, nuclear power is harnessed to produce electricity for our everyday lives. Christina Sharples has a story.
Davis-Besse Nuclear Power Plant is lighting up our lives with the latest in nuclear technology. Can you tell us a little bit about your plant?
The Davis-Besse Nuclear Power Station was built in 1977. It operates as a steam electric station using nuclear fission as its source of power.
Can you explain what the simulator is?
The operators that operate Davis-Besse spend years in training. Some of that training is classroom training, just like in school. But a lot of the training occurs in the power plant. Sometimes we can't train and make the power plant do everything we want the operators to. So we've constructed a simulator which looks exactly like the control room of a nuclear power plant, except it's connected to a computer and it simulates the response of the power plant as the operators are trained. Every month and a half, all the operators spend 1 complete week in training, and some of that time is spent in the simulator.
What precautions do you take with radiation?
At Davis-Besse, we take precautions with all industrial hazards. We use hard hats and safety glasses, ear protection for high noise areas, and in some areas, about 1/10 of the power plant, we have to treat radiation as a hazard. We only allow specially trained people to be in that area so they understand how to handle radiation. We continuously monitor them so we know how much they've been exposed to, and in some cases when they're going to be quite close to it and could get material with radiation on them, we provide protective clothing for them.
What is the big tower for?
The large 500-foot tower at the front of Davis-Besse is called the cooling tower. That takes water that has cooled the steam that was used to make the electricity out to the cooling tower, rains it down across the airflow, and about 500,000 gallons a minute cools it and returns it to be reused in the power plant.
Have you ever bought a lottery ticket? What are you going to do with the money if you win the lottery? This week, News 6 asked the 6th graders about their thoughts on this subject. Here's what we found out.
Hi, I'm Lance Witt, reporting for Kids View. Today's question is, if you won the lottery, what would you do with your money?
If I won the lottery, I'd give my money to the homeless because they need shelter and food.
If I won the lottery, I would give all my money to the American Cancer Society to help everyone with cancer.
If I won the lottery, I would give all my money to AIDS research to help people like Magic Johnson.
Most people today may never experience the joy of riding on a train, but America's traditional fascination with trains is kept alive by train hobbyists like Larry Deal and his collection of model trains. Brandon Connors has the story.
Larry Deal is no amateur in training. How'd you start collecting trains?
It all basically started from my wife asking me to see about purchasing a train to run around our Christmas tree one year. I believe it was back in 1987. And it's kind of accelerated or snowballed ever since.
What type of trains do you have?
To give you an idea, we'll go from Z gauge, which would be a Pennsylvania that we'll show you. And the next one in N gauge will be a Great Northern. And the next scale, HO, will be a Conrail. The S gauge will be a Union Pacific freight engine, or a steam engine. And then the O gauge will be a Santa Fe. And then we have a Kalamazoo number 27, which will be the larger gauge, or G gauge.
Where do you get your trains?
From hobby stores like the Semaphore in Sylvania, Ohio, and flea markets, and some are given to me from friends.
What do you do with these trains?
I basically play with them and get a lot of enjoyment from that. I get a chance to work on them, from putting decals on to touch-up painting to getting inside and tinkering with the motors, that's probably the part of the trains that I enjoy the most.
That's all for this week's News 6. Thank you for tuning in. Join us next week when St. Joseph's School visits News 6.
Local support for News 6 has been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.